Okay, today's commentary is on the disappearing yellow passing zone, or broken yellow passing zone. We've lived here for about 10 years, and I've noticed this trend. I'm driving on the Blue Ridge Parkway right now, and this stretch of road I'm on is just one of several stretches that formerly was a legal passing zone. And as you can see, you've got great sight lines, plenty of distance. That was just arbitrarily painted over double yellow, which makes it impossible to legally pass anybody. And in this particular instance, I'm on a steep grade on the parkway. This route is a route that's frequently traveled by RVs, also by cyclists in groups, and so on. Sometimes those vehicles have difficulty coming close to maintaining the 45-mile-an-hour speed limit. In fact, I'm frequently stuck behind vehicles like that that are going 27, 28 miles an hour. And formerly, you could just go around them legally, but they painted over the passing zone, creating these artificial bottlenecks for absolutely no legitimate reason. I think that the only reason that they've done that is because of this general trend toward dumbing down our roads to accommodate the least common denominator driver, that being Clover. That's my term for those kinds of people. Those kinds of people apparently are not able to safely and efficiently pass other people. And there may have been a wreck or an accident as a result of that. And as a result of their incompetence, these formerly legal passing zones are being systematically painted over. And I've noticed that in my area, which is Roanoke, Virginia, as well as other parts of the country. I travel frequently, so I notice that as well. It's really quite dramatic. If you live in a given area for a period of time, you've probably noticed it as well. Shortly up ahead, we'll be coming to another one of these formerly legal passing zones that's been painted over to accommodate Clover. And the whole thing actually, I'll back up a little bit, is just preposterous and absurd. In Europe, in Western Europe, they typically do not have these double yellows. Rather, they have the opposite. Most roads are simply broken yellow, and the presumption is pass when safe. They leave it to the judgment, the initiative of the individual driver to pay attention, and when it's safe to pass safely and efficiently. That ought to be the rule here. Unfortunately, it's the exception. Another aspect of the system that we have that's just ludicrous, the few and far between passing zones that we do have, technically it's not legal to exceed the speed limit even when passing somebody. So let's say, we'll get up ahead here, we'll roll up on this formerly legal passing zone. You've got, say, 50 yards or so of broken yellow that you can legally pass somebody. Let's say that you roll up behind a guy who's doing 39 or 40 miles an hour here on the parkway where the speed limit is 45. Legally, you may not exceed 45 miles an hour to pass the guy. So you've got your 50 yards perhaps to try to pass this guy, and if you're going to do the pass within the law, you can only increase your speed by 6 miles an hour, which makes it practically impossible to pass, whether there's a legal passing zone or not. Here we're coming up to this next formally lawful passing zone. When we moved here back in 2004, this stretch right after this curve here was a legal passing zone, and 3 years ago it was painted double yellow. Here we go again, take a look. Nice open stretch of road, plenty of visibility, plenty of sight lines to safely pass somebody. Now, the caveat, to get back to what I was speaking about a moment ago, would be to pass quickly and efficiently. You might need to exceed the speed limit briefly to pass the guy quickly, safely, expeditiously, but you're not allowed to do that. So they've boxed motorists in. They put you in this catch-22, this impossible position of very few legal passing zones. Those few passing zones where you can legally pass, you're legally not allowed to drive at all remotely quickly in order to get around somebody. In other words, the passing has been made unsafe if you're going to follow the law. So the result of that is that most people, because they're scared of getting a ticket, which is perfectly understandable given the extortionate system that we have, where you get a couple $100 ticket and then your insurance, the insurance mafia finds out about your conviction. And since you're forced by the state to buy this insurance, they can just jack up your rate and you're stuck. You have to pay, and you have no real good option because they all talk to one another. They all have the same access to the same state records, which means that if you quote-unquote shop for another policy, well, the next insurance company is going to know about your ticket and you're done. You simply can't say no. There's no free market incentive. You can't say, you know what, I have never had an accident. I'm a safe driver irrespective of these trumped up traffic tickets that I've received. I'm a very good risk based on the fact that I've got no accidents on my record for the past 20 or 30 years or however long it might be. So I'm not interested in your grotesquely overpriced policy, so I'm going to decline the coverage. You can't do that. You're forced to buy the coverage. So anyway, the point is that people are intimidated, and they're intimidated and conditioned and taught not to exercise any initiative. So here's what ultimately happens. You roll up behind the guy who's doing 39 or 40 in the 45, and the 45, of course, is artificially low to begin with. And since it's almost impossible to find a legal passing zone, and then you're scared that if you do try to pass the guy, that's going to be the moment when there's a cop coming the other way, and he'll see that you're driving 5 miles an hour or whatever over the posted speed limit, you'll get pulled. So instead of even attempting to pass, people just blearily form a Clover Congo behind the slow-moving driver. And if you scale that up nationwide, you'll understand and appreciate why it is that it's getting to be impossible to get anywhere without constant frustration and constant delays. Because cumulatively, the effect is that people are just forced into driving into this strictured, crippled, gimped down, dumbed down, retarded way of operating vehicles and getting from A to B. Perhaps the system will change if enough of us decide we're sick of it and start complaining about it, start trying to do something about it. I, for myself, got myself Valentine 1 radar detector right there. I'm going to give Mike Valentine another plug, but I'm doing it from the heart and not for any financial gain. This little unit here has made my life immensely more pleasurable because now I can pass the Clovers when I encounter them with pretty good odds in my favor. It's possible there might be a cop who doesn't have his radar on or who's running laser, but the odds are now disproportionately in my favor rather than disproportionately against me. It's made driving fun again. So I encourage you guys to buy a V1. That's my personal favorite radar detector. Also, I hope you will come down to epautos.com sometime, or visit us, I should say, and leave your comments, check out the articles, see what you think. Tell us what you think. Also, we accept videos of examples of Cloveridic terrible driving. We'd love to have your videos, we'd love to have your comments. So again, please check us out over at epautos.com, and we will catch up with you next time.